Now the longest piece of content I've ever produced has been completed, it's about time that I actually focus on something else that is also 40k related. Namely, audio dramas, as this is my favorite method to actually enjoy the grim darkness of the far future, where there is only war. This is not going to be in any particular order other than the ones I like to talk about, as well as to shine a light on those that get neglected. Without further ado, let's begin. And what better way to start than the one that got me interested in the world to begin with? For context, I began to notice Warhammer 40,000 around 2015, but only really liked the artwork and not really getting into the world itself, as I was more of a Star Wars Extended Universe fan. Well, then The Last Jedi came, and any interest I might have had in Disney Wars just got sucked right out. I needed another universe to really sink my teeth into, and when I remember the cool 40k art of the Space Marines, I decided to try and look up some of the lore, and well, it's pretty obvious I eventually got hooked. But not until I tried reading some of the recommended books and listened to the recommended audiobooks, and thus, we get my favorite, The Dark King. Background lore. The Cherort system was being conquered in an Imperial compliance mission by the Night Lords, the Emperor's children, and Imperial Fists. Of course, this is a story about Curse, so things go skin peel bananas until Rokal intervenes. Rokal and Curse have a bit of a chat where Rokal discusses what Curse had told Fulgrim in confidence about his visions, whereupon Curse fully returns to monkey on Rokal and gets arrested. And before anyone asks, no, I am not gonna do a lore on the Primarchs because you can literally find it everywhere else. The reason this is my favorite is that when I found this one, I had only recently learned about the Primarchs, and having the amazing voice acting talents of Denny Webb really just sells me on Curse.
Looking once again at the world of his youth, Night Haunter felt the ever-present anger seething under his skin like hot magma beneath the fragile crust of a dying planet.
Nostromo was once the very model of a pacified planet, Shang,
said Night Haunter.
Its populace was kept compliant through fear of the harsh punishment I would mete out to any who broke my laws. Every citizen knew his place, and to break the law was death.
I remember, my lord.
And now we return to this,
said Night Haunter, sweeping the cards from the lectern to reveal a slowly scrolling list of text.
A murder every 11 seconds, a rape every 9 seconds, violent crimes increasing exponentially every month, suicide rates doubling every year. Within a decade, there will be nothing left of the ordered world I left behind.
Without fear of reprisal, humanity reverts to its basest instincts, my lord. Night Haunter nodded.
This is it, Shang. The ultimate proof that the Emperor's belief in the goodness of mankind is folly of the worst kind.
Shang hesitated before speaking again. Then you intend to go through with the attack?
Of course,
said Night Haunter, staring at the doomed planet.
Only the most extreme measures will serve as an example of our strength of will. Nostromo is dead to us now. We have come for you all.
You cannot tell me this is not Conrad Curse. You can't. You absolutely can't. I realized two things after I was done with this audio drama. That the Night Lords had become my favorite traitor marines, and that I had become sucked into the universe. If you have not listened to The Dark King beforehand, you owe it to yourself to listen to it right now. And it's only 35 minutes, you can finish that in an afternoon. As to whether or not I would actually recommend this for a first timer, don't know. I would recommend getting a more grounded understanding of the universe and Conrad in particular, because this does feature a few significant moments in his life, and they might fly over your head if you don't have the context. On to the next one, that's gonna be even shorter. Now, some past comments have made the argument that the Primarchs and the Space Marines should all have deep voices due to their size, but I would argue that hearing characters like Sanguinius sounding like a black metal vocalist having a hangover isn't exactly fitting. For me, it's one of those small compromises like sound and space that I don't mind them having because it can actually add something that would otherwise be missing. I say all this because War Master has my favorite Horus voice actor, Ramon Tikaram. Background lore. Horus had started the Great Betrayal in the Istvan system after the bombing of Istvan 3 and the 3 months battle that ensued after that. Once done, he headed over to Istvan 5 to commit 9/11 times 69.
My god. That's... I don't even know what that is!
Nobody does.
And afterwards, on the Vengeful Spirit, is when we get into War Master. War Master gives us a look into Horus's inner mind. We get to see how he feels about leading a righteous crusade in his eyes, with the most damaged Primarchs alongside him. And this is what I mean when I say that the voices for the Primarchs and the Space Marines can be regular, because Ramon Tikaram delivers what I consider to be the best performance of Horus Lupercal.
500 ships lost to the void at the Storm's fight? The enemy was waiting for us?
Istvan was supposed to burn in silence so that our war could be won before it ever truly began. The angel's wings were to be broken at my feet. And still, failures come tumbling one over the other. And on, and on.
Gilliman gathers all his strength to Ultramar.
He paused, his eyes fixed upon the image of a shrunken astropath.
Kalth burned, yet our brother lives. Rabute. Wise Rabute. Rabute, with his scratching quills and his plans and his hope. Too understanding. Too strong. Too damned perfect. I wish he was with us.
With a flick of his bladed fingers, the throng of images vanished, and silence flowed back with the returning shadows. Horus shook his head, his eyes still fixed upon the throne.
You would say that I listened too much to Alfarius and Lorgar, that a war fought with deceit is doomed to fail. Perhaps you would be right. The Hydra does not see all, and now his blindness places a knife at his own back. Korax would not have made such an error. Strange, is it not, that so many I wish beside me stand against me, while at my back are only the flawed and damaged. I am a master of broken monsters.
And remember when I said this will be even shorter? Yeah, how's about 9 minutes in length do it for you? The good news is, if you want more, there is another. Dark Compliance. I won't be covering that because this is about War Master, but Dark Compliance is 1 hour long with the same Horus, which for me is an instant recommendation. But as Alucard would say, enough focusing on the Primarchs. Instead, let's focus on the Primarchs. So this is going to sound weird considering the recommendation. I'm not the biggest fan of Lorgar, for a couple of reasons. 1. His last name is freaking Aurelian, the chattiest Roman emperor that has ever existed, so get your sticky fingers off my boy. 2. The word bearers are just not for me. I got nothing against evil choir boys calling up Satan for moral advice, but the fact that they're aware of the evils of chaos and what it will bring to the galaxy makes it difficult for me to really get behind them. And blame Lorgar. Even if it's not. That all being said, I do like the cosmic irony that Lorgar unintentionally created the Imperial Faith with the Emperor as its god. And this particular audio drama tickles at it greatly. Lorgar grew up on Colchis, a planet filled with religious worship. As a result, he became highly religious himself, and with the Emperor arriving, Lorgar started spreading the good word of Big E, even creating a Bible in his name, the Lectitio Divinitatis. Only one problem, Big E was never a big fan of religion, considering chaos and faith and what it has an effect on the warp and all that. And so many times, many times, Big E actually demanded that Lorgar would just stop with the worship at all times. It would only really take with the raising of Monarchia. And skipping ahead a little bit, Lorgar would eventually join Horus and praise the chaos. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention he would also attack the worlds of Ultramar. Now with all that out of the way, the revelation of the word deals with Lorgar finding a secret underground temple on a world of Ultramar.
This wider chamber, this is what you wanted me to see.
It is, my lord.
That rockcrete slab, it cannot be anything other than an altar, and the runes on the walls. This is a place of worship. You did well to bring me here, Chaplain.
Thank you, my lord.
Acts of worship taking place under Robute's very nose. The irony is delicious. And from the looks of this construction, it has been going on for some time.
And as much as he wants to savor the irony, the next revelation, well, have a listen for yourself.
Better and better. But the worship of what? There is no iconography of chaos here.
There is not. There is this reliquary instead. We found it in a concealed recess of the altar.
The Lectitio Divinitatus.
I did not believe my eyes when I saw this.
Nor do I now. My book. My words returning to confront me here. The words that had led to the shaming of our legion. The words I now know were a delusion. Their only truth was the belief in the sublime, but oh, how wrong I was to believe I had found it in the Emperor, and to find this here and now.
You will want me to speak to the, congregation, my lord?
Oh, I will. I most certainly will. Did any of the prisoners stand out?
One of the women. The others seem to look to her for leadership.
Bring her down here, now.
I will, my lord.
What does this mean, Father? Do you know of this? Is this further mockery?
Oh, but it gets better. Not only do you get to see him absolutely bitch-slapped by the revelation, you also get just the best moment of Lorgar ever.
The truth matters to me, you wretch. You prattle about its importance, but I understand truth in ways and to depths you cannot imagine. I know more intimately than you ever will. Shall I quote them to you? Shall I quote what I have written?
You could not have. It is not possible.
You know I speak the truth. You know it.
All jokes aside, I actually do think this is a really good audio drama. It's got good voice acting, good sound mixing as usual, and I've also spared you some of the best moments. In fact, there is a bit more depth to this that I didn't go into because, trust me, you're going to want to see it yourself. And this one clocks in around 24 minutes, so you'll be doubly set than you were with War Master.